that song?
You people are singing along to Bid Nerds. That's what we do.
Headbanging. Yeah.
Head bang to the nerds. It's first thing in the morning. It's a good way to grab a cup of coffee, watch some nerds, or just listen. Most people don't want to look at us. We're not attractive people. If you're a smarter watcher, or let's call it listener, most of you are like turning it on one tab and then going and looking at cars on another tab. That's the best way to experience nerds. But you got to come back every now and then, see pictures of the cars we're talking about, and that's what we do here on the Bid Nerds. We talk about the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. My name is John Polnik. We record this show from the Container Park in downtown Las Vegas. It's a beautiful place. If you ever happen to be in the Container Park, come and visit us at the Rami Studio right here on the second level. Along with my partner, Michael Deeb, who is not in Las Vegas. He's over there in... Where are you, Michael Deeb? Don't tell me about the weather. Whatever you do not tell me about the weather.
San Francisco, go Niners.
All right, there it is, guys. Yep. We are gonna get after it with the most interesting car of the day. But we do want to hear from you guys. What do you think is the most interesting car of the day on a future auction? Tell us what cars you want us to possibly talk about and feature on one of our episodes in the future dates.
We had fan of the Bid Nerds, John Alcantara, submit a 2004 Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale, which I think JP would agree. It's a very interesting car. So we need more like that. So if you watch the show, please just text one of us or write in comments.
Do it in the comments. Definitely do it in the comments. Do it in the comments. Always do it in the comments. What's up? While you're writing a comment and letting us know about a car in the future, hit the subscribe, like, and notification button. We do the show every day. Share an episode with a friend. You got to know some other nerds out there. There's a lot of us. I know there's a lot of us out there. There are nerds plenty when it comes to the car scene. Because if you've ever been to a Cars and Cafe or a Cars and Coffee or a car show on Malibu, or if you've ever been to a car show, all it is nerds. We're all a bunch of nerds. So let everyone know that the show is happening. Because we'd love them to play along. We pick the most interesting car of the day. We have a conversation about it. We make a prediction as to what's going to happen with that car's auction at the end of its auction, and then we reconcile our predictions right here in this same episode. We'll do a quick commercial, come back, boom. It's like you time travel into the future. You get to see how much the car sells for and which one of us is right and which one of us is wrong, and you get to see if you were right. So play along with us. Today's car, definitely an interesting car. I know my partner loves this car. I know this car is about as me as it gets. Ooh, oh my God, boy, John, I'm getting a little bit of a woo. Look at that. That's hot.
John, get off your wallet and go buy this car. Look at this thing.
Good Lord.
Jimmy, quick question before we go any further. What is it about a 964 that if you lower it just an inch, it looks like the coolest car on earth? Like, this thing is sick. Offered on Bring a Trailer out of Jupiter, Florida, is this 1993 Porsche 911 Carrera 2-wheel drive coupe with a 5-speed manual and showing just 19,000 original miles. The car is just spectacular condition. This is going to be the quickest review ever because essentially this car is bone stock. It even has the factory Cosmoline still sprayed all over the engine and transmission and parts of the suspension underneath the car. Black on black. That it's a standard, boring, no-nonsense car, but 964s have gone through the roof. And this car, to see one such low miles in this beautiful colorway, the owner treated this car to coil-over suspension, which allowed him to lower the car because the suspension is adjustable, and it give it that stance that just looks right. And then he put one little teeny tiny roof right there, that lip spoiler underneath the bottom of the car, so he doesn't scrape up the paint that's underneath there. But other than that, this car is just totally standard. There's not a lot to say. 964s kind of gone through the roof. They've finally got their due as really beautiful driving and cars to look at. A lot of people that are trying to do sort of resto or retro style modification builds have used the 964 as their platform because the chassis, the transmission, the suspension, the motor, everything about these cars is just about the best of a two and a half decade era for Porsche. Singer famously makes most of their cars out of 964s. They've gone through several hundred of them themselves. Now, I read a number, and I would invite you to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm showing that in 1993, Porsche only made like 500 coupes. That sounds too low to me. So it's no better than the nonsense I read. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But JP, I don't have a lot to say about this car. It's incredible find with the mileage and the colorway. It looks to be in perfect, unmolested condition. This is exactly how I would expect you to set up your car. Put it on the coilovers and just rock the hell out of it. I think what's going to be fascinating here, not so much the unusual occasion of seeing a car in this condition with such low miles, but the astronomical final bid that I think this car is sure to bring a trailer. So JP, I send it to you. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, come on. This thing's pretty much blue chip. This is as nice a car as you can get. You gotta hope that whoever buys this car is someone that's going to drive it. It is low miles and it is in such nice condition. You wonder, you worry that this is just going to get socked away in someone's collection and it's just going to sit there because there are so few 964s. I don't know what the actual hard number on coupes was for '93, but I know that Porsche making cars in general in '93 was really low. They were in big trouble in the early '90s. Right. They almost went out of business.
I think I should quantify that too. I think part of that number being so low is that it's two-wheel drive coupe, and that four-wheel drive coupe might have accounted for like another 600 cars, and then you get closer into that 12 to 1500 range, which I would expect on a slow year would be close to the number they made. Where on a big year, I would expect Porsche to make 2,500 to 3,000 coupes, like they do today. So,
yeah. Well, 964s are one of those cars that, we've talked about this before, and most people that know them, these cars were unloved for a long time. When the 993 came out, it completely overshadowed it. The car was kind of long in the tooth. People were kind of over this body style back then in the early 90s. Things like the 300ZX came out, and they had 300 horsepower in a regular car. Yep. And so this car was just, they languished, and the people that bought them didn't take care of them like other Porsches were taken care of. And this was the ugly stepchild, and this car has definitely bloomed. It has come back. It's had this model has a new life. Singer is no longer making cars on the 964 platform. They've moved on to the turbo thing. So if you have one, that's it. It's interesting. It'll be, will that affect the market on these? I doubt it, because there's only so many of them left. They didn't make that many. One thing to think about when you're looking at a 964, they started making them in '89 and made them to 94. The 93 and the 94s are really the one you want if you have a choice. Usually you don't, because they made some significant there were some significant mechanical differences between the early versions and the later ones, specifically in regarding to the single mass versus the dual mass clutch, and whether or not it had a gasket between the transmission and the engine. The early ones were gasket-less, so they tended to leak a lot. So if you're getting an early car with low miles, that's something that you're probably going to have to deal with right away, and that's that's like engine out, basically reseal type of situation. Whereas this car, you're not going to have to deal with that, which is pretty cool. Distributors are an issue on these, but I think with this few miles, I don't know. If I got this car, boy, I would just drive the living daylights out of it. The KW V3s. This is just the car if you want a car to drive forever and you could pick one car, I don't know how it's not this car. Honestly,
seriously, beautiful car.
And your checkbook is going to have something to say about that, and that's where the rubber hits the proverbial road, as we say in the old bid nerds. Where will this car go? Even in today's market, with what most people are saying is a bit of a softening, will this car see a high water mark, or have we seen the top? You think there's still room?
Yeah, this car, dude, it ticks every box, JP. It's like a .2 964. It's a two-wheel drive. It's manual. It's the right color. It's spectacularly low miles. I think the only knock on this car is that it's sitting in Jupiter, Florida, and it'll cost you $3,000 to drag it out of Florida. But JP, with a few days to go, sitting on 6 bids at like $99,000, I think this car is going to reset the high water mark for a coupe that's not an RS America or a turbo. And so I'm going to go big. I think this car is sold at $145,000. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. I'm actually going to go over on this.
Really?
I think this is a $150. I think this is a $150,000. RSAs are getting close to 200 with low miles. And this car is as close to an RSA as you're going to get because it's, the second gen. Put a whale tail on it and everyone would think that's what it is.
That's right.
Wow, I want this car so hard. But I'm not buying one because I don't have $150,000 laying around to go buy yet another car. Boy, I sure wish I did.
Fingers crossed, by the time we cap this one, when we see the result, you'll have sold your R8 and you'll maybe be able to start spilling the beans about the car you've got in your crosshairs for your next air-cooled fun toy. So I will tease that ahead to see if you get to make some fun announcement that you bought a really cool built car.
Yeah, the car I'd like to get is not one of these as much as I wish it were. It's just, look, you've owned a 964 RSA back in the day when $1.50 was like high for an RSA. How does this make you feel looking at a regular 964 being worth the same amount of money?
JP, I bought my RSA for like under 110 grand, and the insurance gave me over 147 for it after the car was involved in a major accident. And I knew when I got the check I might not be able to buy another RSA for 150 grand. Now 150 grand might not even get you just a C2. Come on. I mean, crazy.
If you guys want to see Michael Deeb's 964 RS America, go check it out on Porsche Road Trip. That is a television show of mine that is living on Pluto TV. You can see it on demand. Go to Pluto TV and search for Porsche Road Trip. You'll see my ugly mug and
it's
click
the one
on
about LA, right? The LA
it's
story.
the Crest episode.
The Crest episode.
Yeah, so I want to say episode 7 in the series of 8. Or you can just go to PorscheRoadTripTV.com and you can go right there and watch it there. I apologize for all the commercials. I have no control over that. But go check that episode out. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe, like, and notification button. And that way you will always know when the freshest nerd episode is out. We publish every day during the week to let us know what car you want us to talk about in a future episode, and we're going to take a quick moment and find out after this how much this 964 actually brings at the end of its auction. I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm going to put it in my garage. I'd have to literally steal it in order for that to happen, but that's what's happening. Okay, guys, I want to tell you about Vegas Auto Fest. The drivers are coming. This is one of our big sponsors. It's the biggest car show of the year in Las Vegas. It's one of the coolest car shows you can possibly experience anywhere. If you haven't made plans to be part of Vegas Auto Fest on September 17th, then do it now. Go to VegasAutoFest.com and register your car. You think you're a car enthusiast? Doesn't matter where you live. Plan a trip to Vegas on September 17th and come out and see this show. It's like Monterey Car Week all in a day. Have you ever been to the Quail? Have you ever been to Works Reunion? Have you ever been to Amelia Island? All those car shows are amazing and great. Have you been to Luftkult? Sure, but Vegas Auto Fest is something special. Make a plan for September 17th. We'll see you in Vegas. Hey guys, welcome back to Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on all the automotive enthusiast auction sites, including Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, P-Car Market, Shiftgate, whoever happens to throw out an auction site. They seem to be popping up like dandelions. We are sitting here talking about one of our favorite cars ever. And we're going to tell you how much that car sold for in just a second. But before we do that, make sure you spread the word and share a nerd. Hit subscribe, like, and notification buttons. Do that now. There's 5 of you out there watching this show. Don't you want to be that cool person who's like, I subscribed before everybody else kind of got on the wagon and ruined the show? We're ruined already. That's the great thing about us, is it's like, we're crap from the get-go, but you could be that ground, that ground level. You could be an early adopter. You could wear a t-shirt and be like, yeah, I remember watching Bid Nerds when they were talking about 993s only be worth $100,000. Now they're worth $600,000 because of inflation.
Oh my God.
You have that opportunity opportunity. Now's the time to spread the word, share a nerd. All right, Michael Deeb, this car, woo, this thing's hot. You know I got really excited about it. When I saw the car, my bid was pretty darn high. When you bid, what happened?
JP, I picked this car for you, and sometimes a 911 comes along that is just so effing perfect, and I just thought this was one of them, and I thought you would lose your mind. 1993 911 C2 Coupe with just 19,000 miles. This thing is spectacular. Black on black. It's lowered. Beautiful car. And we went big on it. We did not shy away. JP, I said $145,000 will bring it home. I pounded the table for that big number. And then you took the over, which very rarely happens. You bid over me. You said 150 grand. This car had a spectacular result, but we might have oversold it just a smidge. Our car sold for $142,000 on just 36 bids. I shouldn't say just 36 bids. That's actually a lot of action. But on Bring a Trailer, I'd say that's all the money for this car. But can you imagine, John, just a couple of years ago, you could have bought this car for half the price. 142 grand for a normal C2 Coupe. Whoa, that's bonkers, because this, in 19 was a $65,000, $70,000 car, literally half the price of this result. The market has just gone crazy. Everybody is quick to point out that Singer built cars on this platform and that Singer ruined the market. I don't think that's true. I think that what Singer might be responsible for is bringing attention to how good this platform is. The block motors really well thought, and the line on this car. But I don't think the cars that they took out of the market are what drove the price. I think maybe their endorsement of this being the car from which to build your dream 911 might have had something to do with it. And now this car finally had its due. 140 grand for a C2 Coupe. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, people blaming Singer for the price of these going up is like people blaming Magnus for the price of long hoods going up. That is just a absolute misunderstanding of how things work. It is base level kind of, CNN Fox level kind of this is how we're going to analyze something. The fact is, Singer, right place, right time. They understood the market just a little bit ahead of everyone else. And yes, it is the perfect 911 if you want an air-cooled car. A lot of people prefer the 993. Okay, great. I get that. 993s never got cheap, so really relatively to everything else, 993s always held their value, whereas 964s just plummeted. And again, like we all know, the 964, the nose on a 964 looks like the old 911. So if you're going to backdate a car to make it look like something from the 60s but have all the modern technology, why would you start with a 993? Then you'd have to change fenders and stuff. This car is the perfect platform. They used to be inexpensive, and now Singer's not even doing it anymore. They've moved on to their turbo projects or whatever. I don't even know what the heck is going on with Singer and their business model, but we have friends right here in Las Vegas. One of our very good friends bought a white 964 about a year ago. Specifically, he was in line to have a Singer built. He had given them a deposit. He was one of the last allowed in line, and they gave him his deposit back. They said, "Sorry, we ain't doing it anymore." There he is. He had his 964, and he wound up just selling it because he didn't want just a regular 964. He wanted a Singer, which, okay, that's a whole other conversation. But this particular 964, a clean one like this, we just never, ever, ever see him. And in the right color combination, this is dream car category. But you're absolutely right, Michael Deeb. Not that long ago, that was more money than a RSA would
RS American. It was RS American money, and now look at that, just a regular car. So if this is an RSA $200,000 car, JP, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, so again, talk of market softening, correctioning, all those things. Correctioning, that's a word. Why not? We'll make that up. Things changing in the market, things settling down, kind of going into the winter time here soon. People are thinking a little bit more long term right now with their money. People are being a little bit more conservative. It sure is hard to make that statement given the result of this car. I thought 150, and I was kind of going nuts with it. But I think 3 months ago, this car would have easily broken 150 and maybe would have even gotten 175. I think there is a settling in the market, but this is one of those blue chip machines, one of those items that just, if you have this car, will you be able to flip it 6 months from now for more money? Probably not. In 5 years, hell yeah. This is if you're going to park some cash and you think that cash is, the value of cash is going down, which many of us do believe with lots of inflation going on. I don't see anyone doing anything about inflation that's going to make any bit of difference, not the least of which being stupid bills being passed right now that say inflation in it. That's like, okay. Yeah, that's going to do anything. It's like a Patriot bill or Patriot Act is patriotic. That's just absolutely ridiculous. More inflation is on the way. So you want to park your money somewhere? This seems like a darn good place to park it, and you can drive it. What do you think, Deeb?
Yeah, I think it's damn hot. And if it had brought 150 grand, I wouldn't have been surprised. But certainly, the market on these is truly really only going up. So great place to put some money, enjoy the car, and then see where they are. I mean, who knows what the sky will be, the blue sky above this car down the road.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, what do you think? Do you think this car was bid way too high? Do you think people got excited and got frothy mouthed, red misted, and just bid away? Or do you think this is a great place to put your money and a great, just one of the greatest driving cars in the world of all time? And somebody just had to have this car because where the heck else are you going to get one? You can't go down to the used car store and just buy something like this. You can't order it. There's no way to get one of these unless something like this pops up and somebody got an opportunity. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Share the nerd. Spread the word. Share a nerd. It's time, you guys. Subscribe, like, notification button. Do all those things right now. What do you think, Michael Deeb?
Spread the word. Share a nerd. Grow the herd. Let's go. And we'll see you in day 2.
It's true.
Get those words!